Hello and welcome to SuperOK, where we try to do a decent enough job to entertain people with our opinions on video games. My name is Dale, and as always, I am joined by some absolutely amazing human beings. Brodie.
Hello. Hey, I'm here. I'm here.
Wow.
I'm here. I'm very much here.
At one point, I was like, oh man, he's talking about like the idea of being present in the moment. And then towards the end, it started to sound like you were trying to convince yourself like you're on an acid trip and you're like centering.
Yeah, like I was astrally projecting a minute ago, and hey, we're back.
Yeah, I wasn't here. Oh no, I wasn't here.
What year is it? I'm here.
Right, exactly. So the other laughter that you hear is from Mel. Mel, are you also here, or are you doing acid?
I'm here, but apparently I'm a bean, so maybe I'm doing acid?
Yeah, we talked.
I don't know yet.
I said the bean thing and forgot that I had mentioned it at the beginning of another recent episode, and so I didn't want to go into it. But I do want to talk about Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine on one of these episodes, and so we need to do that because that game slaps.
Let's do it.
No, this is not it.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit before the highlight of the week where we dedicate time every week to Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
I mean,
we'll get to it.
It's a pretty good game, though. Have you ever played it?
I have, yeah.
It's great. There's beans. You got to match them beans.
Like it's jelly bean?
Yeah, it's like Puyo Puyo. Or like Tetris, one of the Tetrises. Okay. Where you're matching 4 of the same colored beans, and then they disappear, and then you can do chain reactions, and the more beans that you match on your side, it drops garbage beans on the opponent's side.
That's like Tetris Attack, I think.
Sure, Tetris 99, similar.
Yeah. Tetris 99. Tetris Sphere.
Yeah.
See, we weren't going to talk about this game. We ended up talking about it, and I'm so happy.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. We got this. Dr. Robotnik's round, beans around, Tetris Sphere. Let's go.
We did it.
Every week we do a highlight of the week where we share something that is exciting to us, made our week a little bit brighter, that sort of thing. And so we're going to share those. Brodie, why don't you go first? Tell us what your highlight of the week is.
Yeah, let's do it. I got a highlight right out of 2002. It was an exciting time to be alive in old Brodie's life today when he went to the store and bought a fucking printer. It was definitely a weird thing. Although I did feel immediately validated when I walked into Micro Center and the very first person I saw walking out had also just purchased a printer. And I was like, yes, I'm not going to be the only weirdo today.
I have 2 questions.
Go get a printer.
The first question I'll ask, and Mel will ask the second question, because she's going to ask the same one as the second. What time of day was it?
And how old was this person?
Yes.
Okay, so they don't open until 10 a.m. and I was on a call at 10 a.m. so I couldn't do that. It was around 2 o'clock, and the other person that bought the printer was a bit older than me.
Look how much older, Brodie.
I mean, you could maybe double my age.
Oh, have you ran into this person at the early bird dinner before?
I did not recognize them, no. But
hold on, go to the same bingo hall as you?
No, but I do see them at the Ramshorn every once in a while. No, so the reason why the printer is my highlight of the week, not because I'm just like, ooh boy, a printer, is because I'm hoping to get a little bit more serious. I've talked in the past about like working on prototypes for like games and cards and stuff like that, and like I had to do all that shit by hand, which is a big reason why I would stop having to like draw things in and write things on, 200 cards. So that's why I bought the printer, is in the hopes that it helps me actually kind of prototype stuff out if I really want to take that seriously, and I might. So that's the whole reason why a printer might be the highlight of the week. I do have a small shout out to the fact that we were talking right before the recording. I did finally sit Mare down with Vampire Survivors, and she is hardcore addicted right now. And it's brought me so much joy watching some of her runs, especially since she, I think, accidentally did a run on what I believe might be, and the game is so full of secrets, whatever, but one of the last levels as the dog that farts flowers. So I was like sitting there watching her run the whole time, rooting for her, going, I cannot fucking believe you have this build. It's totally absurd. But like, go for it.
So two things. One, I'm excited about you working on a board game prototype because I want to play it and see it and all of that. Two, I'm excited for the later highlight of the week, which was I beat the shit out of my printer because it stopped working for no reason. And so we office spaced it. So that's
the inevitable demise of my printer. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
My question is, did you buy a laser printer or did you buy a printer you're going to hate in 6 months?
I did buy a laser printer. Yeah.
Oh, well, then never mind. You're probably going to be okay. And then the last piece is I played Vampire Survivors recently after like having 100%ed it like 8 months ago or something like that. Like when it first came out, I 100%ed it and I put it away. And then somebody was like, oh, they added a bunch of stuff. And I picked it back up when it like went to Game Pass or whatever. And the first run back, I didn't know that you had the ability to limit the number of weapons. And so I played it on one weapon only.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
The whole time.
Wow.
I still won, but
Congrats.
I don't know how. So
that's wild.
It was whip only.
That's crazy.
Well, nice work.
Yeah. I'll go next with my highlight of the week because I spent this weekend in Chicago visiting my sister and the Nibblings.
Nice.
And my niece had like a middle school play, and that was adorable. And then she had a cheer competition, and that was great because it was like 5th graders through 8th graders. So it was like a lot of little tiny kids, like just lifting one another in the air. They're not old enough to do throws, so they were just lifting each other. And that was great. But my favorite part of the trip, sorry, all of my family, was that they took me to a restaurant called Sawa's Old Warsaw.
That's a mouthful.
Yes. And it is a restaurant that is a Polish buffet.
That's amazing.
So an all-you-can-eat Polish buffet called Sawa's Old Warsaw. And if you're ever in Chicago, I cannot recommend it enough. It was amazing. They had like kielbasa, they had potato pierogi, they had this thing that every time I talk about it, everyone thinks that I'm crazy, but it's like very, very thinly sliced cucumbers mixed with sour cream. And it's like served as almost like a salad.
I feel like I've had that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had that.
But they put dill in it. And so it was really good. And we went on a Saturday. And so it was prime rib night.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Tell me more.
Yeah. So I had a plate with like, some apple blintzes and some really creamy mashed potatoes and then prime rib next to my kielbasa. It ruled.
I think this might be an 8th Amendment violation, however, because Mel, just before the recording, was like, oh, I can't wait to get done to eat this food. I've literally been working on cooking all day. And here's Dale going into all these like in-depth, delicious food facts.
I'm also fucking up because I'm looking at the like website and like drooling over the buffet pictures right now.
Yeah.
So
correct. You are fucking this up.
Yeah. Can't help it. It looks
the
great.
potato pancakes were so good. They had the Polish style chicken noodle soup with the noodles are like very thin and very small and so good.
Oh, it's like melt in your mouth type of noodles.
Yeah, just like the best.
So just real quick, Dale, there is a quite good Polish restaurant kind of out near me at like 15 and DeQuinder called Polka. It absolutely is worth trying. We went there with our family a while ago and it was excellent. It was super, super good. So if it's still around, if it survived the pandemic, it's worth checking out.
Two questions. One, does it feature old Polish grandmas who are doing the cooking yelling at each other?
I was in like one of their you have a party of like 15 people rooms, so I don't remember.
Okay, because if not, Sawa's has the upper hand there. And then is it a buffet or do you have to order like a regular human?
It's a regular ass restaurant.
I'm gonna put such a hurt on my credit card then.
Maybe. It's good though.
I went to their website. Sorry, but we are temporarily closed. Brodie.
Rip.
Sadage.
You son of a bitch.
Sorry.
Oh, God. There's another one on like, I think like Haze or something. I'll look it up. While Mel tells us about her highlight of the week.
My highlight of the week is Pokemans. I have been playing the shit out of Pokemon Violet. I ended up getting it at a midnight release at a GameStop, which I haven't done in like freaking forever. I stood there with like all of the other Pokemon fanatics, and they, GameStop always does like weird raffles, when you're waiting in line until midnight or whatever. And Josh and I ended up winning both raffles. We ended up getting like a cool Nintendo Switch pen, and we also got some cool like Splatoon stickers that we're gonna stick on our cooler. And as soon as we got home, I loaded up my Switch and just started playing like Pokemon. And I didn't work on Friday, so I spent all day Friday like playing Pokemon. The game, yes, there are problems with it. Like that is a known fact. Like all of the videos online does showcase problems, like weird, silly glitches. There's frame rate droppage, and like sometimes like loading into like certain areas is kind of slow. But like I'm looking beyond that because I feel like that's patchable, right? Like the story itself is interesting because like it's non-linear. You can pretty much go to whichever gyms you want to go first, or like do these like trial things and like kill monster Pokemon.
Cool.
And like one of the storylines is just like sad and like heartwarming at the same time, where like my dumbass decided that I was gonna cry about it because it was just like so freaking cute. Yeah.
Is it really where you have to resurrect your grandma as a Pokemon if you fight?
No, thank goodness. But it does have something to do with like somebody's Pokemon, and yeah. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. It's great. I've been enjoying it so far. Catching new Pokemons has been like really interesting. The way that they do shinies now is that like there's no like the shinies, you can see it in the overworld, but there's no like noise or like any type of indication, like sparkly shit to like let you know that that's a shiny Pokemon. So you really have to like, they're a different color. So you really have to like search now. And when we were talking about Arceus last time, like the one thing that I really loved about Arceus is because it gives you the opportunity to like really explore like the landscape, and you have that same type of adventure within this game. And I find myself just going to like all these little nooks and crannies trying to find like items on the ground or like TMs or something like that, and like witnessing new Pokemon. So it's been really fun so far. I feel like I've been ranting because that's how much I love this game.
No, it's good. Also, I mean, I watched my brother play a little bit of this on stream, and I saw that there's a Pokemon that's just a car.
Yeah.
So
it's a car. It's like a weird engine thing.
Good to know they didn't run out of ideas.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's true.
For anyone in the Southeast Michigan area, by the way, I looked it up. Lukich Family Restaurant is on Rochester Road, and they are a Polish restaurant that I've been to, and it's pretty good.
It's a solid one.
Would recommend. So, who's your favorite? Or I'm sorry, not favorite. Which starter did you go with?
I ended up going with the Weed Cat. I renamed it, so I don't really know the name of the starter Pokemon.
Weed Cat.
I just call it Weed Cat because it's a cat with like a weird like leaf thing on its forehead.
I know a lot of weed cats in college.
Hey.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know.
All
yeah.
Right. We're done here. Thanks for playing.
I also named it Spaghetti.
Nice.
I'm sorry, you named it what?
Spaghetti.
like a sprig?
But like spaghetti, yeah. And just mashed them together.
Wow. I love it for what it's worth.
I loved it too. I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever came up with.
Which is, of course, why I love it. I like anything stupid.
Feels unimpressed.
I think he's died. Are you still with us?
Speaking of stupid, check out the intro to this main discussion that Brodie wrote here. Ante up, partner. This week we're going all in and exploring the world of gambling in video games.
Okay, that was seriously the greatest transition that's ever happened on this show.
The earliest example of gambling in video games that we could find was in 1978's Casino, which released on the Atari 2600 and featured blackjack, 5-card stud poker, and poker solitaire. These games would continue to evolve and pull in more and more actual casino activities, such as roulette, horse racing, and countless other card games, until these mechanics started showing up in other games, such as 1988's Super Mario Bros. 2. At the end of every level, you'd use coins that you collected in the levels to play a slot machine for extra lives. Since then, we've gone on to see these mechanics continue to evolve and integrate themselves into other genres. So join us as we crap out.
Okay, all right, a little peek behind the curtain thing. You're welcome, Tubbs. I know you love this shit. When I'm writing these, sometimes I really
He loves the shit when we crap out.
No, I'm totally agnostic of who's going to be the host. Like, I don't even think about like a human reading this. I really don't.
You just write it going, this sounds great.
Yeah.
Just to peel back the curtain a little bit, before the episode, I was talking about I like to read these verbatim because Brodie spends a lot of time writing them, but this one legitimately feels like he was just fucking with me. Like, I wonder if he'll say it this week, you know?
Oh, man. I kind of wish I did. No, I'm not that smart, I guess.
All right.
But now you planted the seed now, so now I'm going to have to question every single intro that you write.
Right.
Oh, don't worry. I'll forget 10 minutes after we record. It's fine.
Nice. All right. Before we get started on talking about video game casinos, though, have any of us spent any time in actual casinos, perhaps at 11 a.m. on a Sunday recently?
I feel so attacked because this is literally what happened to me yesterday. So I have been to casinos. Probably the first time I was ever in a casino. I was on a work trip that my mom had to Vegas. And so she brought me and my dad along. And so I was like 8 years old or something. And my dad was like sitting me down at slot machines and telling me to play them. And I kept getting asked by like the attendants not to play because I was, just like 8 years old. They're like, you can't do this. Please don't have your son play at the slot machines. But yeah, no, I still go to the casino every once in a while. Yesterday was the first time we'd been back to one of the casinos in a very long time. We've been like 3 or 4 years, and it was pretty fun. It was a random ass time to go, but like, man, I had some bad cabin fever, and like, Mare was like, "Hey, let's go clothes shopping," and she hates clothes shopping, and I hate clothes shopping, and so I was like, "How about I sell you on anything else?" She was like, "Okay, that's fine." And we've been watching, they have this thing now on TikTok Live where there's this, let's be honest, it's a total fucking scam where people will do TikTok Lives of them at casinos. People will cash app them like $120. They will take 100 of that and gamble it. And then of the winnings, if there are any winnings, the person who gave the money initially to the Cash App thing gets to keep 80% of the winnings, and the person who's doing the actual casino work gets to keep 20%. So it's just a fucking racket. These people are literally like, "Hey, Cash App me some cash. I'll play a casino game for you. I'm just going to take $20 off the top to start." They just earn money all over the place for this. It's so dumb.
It's so wild.
But we've started watching it because you're just like, you're watching somebody play slots and sometimes they win big. Other people's money. It's ridiculous.
I fucking hate humans.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised. So their whole thing is that they get like 5 people at a time where they're like, "Okay, go ahead and send us your money and we'll line 5 people up." And while they are like in the hot seat, they can control whatever they do. So like, "Oh, go to play the dollar slots. I want you to bet this much, whatever. Go. Okay, we're done here. Go do that other one." But like, there's constantly 5 people in line for this. I've never seen one of these where there's not 5 people that have already sent money. So these people are always sitting on a rolling $500 to $600 in cash incoming at all times.
That's wild.
It is crazy.
It is totally crazy. Anyway, sorry, I talked a lot. Yes,
no,
casinos.
you didn't talk a lot. Did it mess you up as a kid being a slot wizard?
Yeah.
I just thought
also slot wizard sounds like a really gross name for a promiscuous dude.
Yeah, no, it really does. That's accurate. That's really funny. No, it's more just that like I've always been a like follow the rules guy, so that when I kept getting asked to stop, my dad was like, "Oh, it's fine. Just keep putting coins in this thing." And I'm like, "I don't want to do this anymore. It makes me feel uncomfy."
So you were a narc even as a kid.
Yeah, I've always been an asshole.
Fair enough. I'll go next. I've only played at casinos just like a little bit. I really only play roulette.
Yeah,
and
baby.
only the bets that are close to 50-50. I might as well be betting on a coin flip. And I never bet a lot of money because I just get too stressed about the cash to enjoy anything higher stakes, which is funny because I will spend cash on the dumbest shit. You've listened to me for hundreds of episodes. I have bought some of the dumbest shit imaginable. But it was a sure thing.
Right.
You know?
You get something out of it.
Exactly. And so I get stressed about it.
I don't blame
I don't
you.
know.
Fair.
Maybe that part of my brain's broke.
No, Mare's the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I just don't think that you have like that instant gratification, like as you buy things. Like in gambling, sometimes like you have to like continuously like pump in money to see like something big or something extremely small come out of it, and like the gains are just like not there, right?
So
yeah.
I will say this though, that like, so we were talking a little bit before the episode about how like I think that minimum bets on penny slots have changed a little bit. So the minimum bets are higher. So for anybody who doesn't spend any time in casinos, on penny slot machines, usually the minimum increment is still like an increment of like 30 or 60 or 90 or something, because they're playing all kinds of lines and you bet into progressive like jackpots and stuff like that. So it's never like a 1 cent wager. But yeah, there's just no way to like, as somebody who just wants to like have a couple coins build up. Yeah, there's no way to like, you can't put $5 in a machine anymore and just like slow play it for a while if you just want to enjoy like the goofy features and stuff. For when we were used to go to casinos 5 or 6 years ago, it seemed like that would happen. Like the minimum bet slots would give you all kinds of mini games and stuff that like, oh, spin the big wheel and shit, and you'd earn like no fucking money, but there'd be all kinds of like, you're having a great time, right?
Yeah.
It's loud and it's bright and it's like, you know, it makes you feel like you're winning, and now it's just like fucking throwing your money away.
Yep.
It's like an adult
depressing.
Fisher-Price toy.
Yeah, basically.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, I'll like go and I'll bet like, oh, I'm going to bet $20. And then when I win, I put the other 20 in my pocket and I'll like gamble away the 20 and then I'm done. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's all for me. What about you, Mel?
Man, I go to Vegas like almost every year, sometimes twice a year. Not even to like go play like at the casino, but just like to visit family, or like, you know, just because my mom wanted to go. I think it's the last time that we went for her birthday. And like I've played like a lot of games like slots and like blackjack, and I think I play a lot of Keno, because Keno is like the one game where you can sit there and buy like I don't know, like $2 tickets of, you know, play five numbers or something like that and sit there for like hours. Just like win a little bit here, win a little bit there. Nothing crazy, but you get free drinks the whole entire time, which is like very fun. But my mom is crazy at like winning money in Vegas. Like I don't know how she does it, but she only primarily plays slots. And I feel like slots is like the one thing that's like the most rigged, you know, machine you can play in Vegas. And somehow she ends up like, she walks away for like 5 minutes and comes back and she goes, I just won $800. I'm
this
like,
is my dad.
How the hell
my
do you
dad's
do that?
exact same way. He like, for no reason, he'll just be like out of the blue. We're like, oh, well, let's go check on my dad. And you look at the machine and he'll have like, $1,000 in there. It's like, the fuck, Dad? Why do you always do this when we go to the casino?
Right?
It's like, I'm losing my ass over here and you're winning literally every time. Sorry.
It's crazy. I've seen my mom like, you know, just nonchalantly put like $10 and like hit the thing, max bet or something, and she would just win a jackpot. And I'm like,
ridiculous.
I don't understand like how you can do something like that. I think the only time that I've ever like won, well, there's the one time I won big was in Greektown Casino, sitting next to my mom playing slots. Like
there
just
you go.
And I guess I just took up her luck.
She reached over and hit the button once.
You might as well. Yeah. And I end up winning like $1,500 there.
Hell,
it was crazy.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think my biggest win was actually this. So this combines both of these things. So it was on roulette. I also loved playing roulette, except I play it like a fucking madman, because what I'll do sometimes is I'll just place 5 $1 bets randomly and just let it ride. But I had won like a couple $100 and I was feeling spicy. And for whatever reason, I'm a fucking idiot. I put like $150 on one number, and that's all I did. I was like 150 on 35, and it fucking hit.
That's crazy.
It was nuts. And it was like a $1,500 payout.
Holy shit.
Wild.
It was 36 to 1 odds. It's
36 to 1 odds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
36 to 1, 37 to 1, because I always forget about 00.
God.
Not good. It was random as shit. I was very happy.
Wow.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
That would happen with you.
Some people are just born with a golden spoon in their ass. That's the phrase.
That's the phrase. You got it. Got it in one.
All right. So what was the first time that we encountered some sort of gambling mechanic in a video game? Was it an actual casino themed game? What do you remember about it? I'll go first here because it was probably one of those like video blackjack machines in the Loyal Order of the Moose that my dad would take us to.
Nice.
But outside of that, it was definitely the slots in Super Mario Brothers 2. I loved it. I would go out of my way to find all the coins. So that way, you know, I could roll the slots as often as I could. And as a kid, I thought I was really good at them. But I don't know that you can be good at them. So maybe I'm just an idiot.
No, I think there's a little bit more skill on those than like other slot machines. Unless I'm thinking of the later Marios more.
I think that's Mario 3 where you can like control.
It's like a timing. You just, if you pay attention, you can get it. I think it was Mario 3 and on. So fair enough then. I think that was probably mine as well. I was actually shocked at the number of casino games that existed for like the NES and like SNES. Like there's a bunch of Golden Nugget themed games and Caesar's Palace and stuff like that, which kind of surprised me actually. I'm sure I've kind of seen them in certain venues, but yeah, I think it had to be Mario 2 for me. And unlike Dale, I absolutely fucking hated it. I didn't like him at all. I've liked none of the Mario slots, and I think it's probably just because I don't have the patience for them. Which is ironic because I like slot machines in real life. So,
do you guys ever remember like the handheld video poker things like back in like the early 90s?
Oh, like the Tiger Electronics ones?
I think even before that. But yeah, it's very similar in the manner where it has like the little cards like in its own little display thing, and you can either like hold or you can like draw or whatever, and that was like pretty much it, and make money. So I used to own one of those as a kid, and I used to be very good at it. But I always, you know, it's poker. So like I'm sure that the odds in you winning those types of games is a lot higher than in real life. And then the other one that I can remember is in Pokemon Blue, actually, they had the game corner where you could do slots and like win like coins and then take your coins to another person that gives you prizes. And I used to love that so much. I would just like continuously like smash A fast enough to like make all of the coins and just spend all my money.
Nice.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Game Corner was awesome.
Yep. Game Corner ruled.
Yeah. Loved it.
You talking about the handheld one makes me remember my aunt had a mechanical slot machine that was like small. It was handheld, but you like actually pulled the lever. The wheels actually moved on it like physically.
That's amazing.
And when it paid, I think it was like a piggy bank because you'd like drop your coin in, and then when it paid out, you could just like see all of the coins that were in the bottom. It was great. It's fun.
I actually had one of those too. And mine didn't have the pull lever, but it was just like a hit the button, battery powered piggy bank thing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
I actually had a life-size like casino slot machine, like mechanical one, and you can put like real money, like very similar, but it was huge. It wasn't like a small one. It was like a large one, and you can like put money in there and like pull down the slot, like the handle or whatever, and it would like go through the ringing, like go through the wheel motions, and it would ring when you won, and then money would pop out, and I would be so excited. Except there was like a reset button in the back, and if you hit that, all your money would pop out. So the days like it would get like really angry, I'd be like, I wanted to win. I just go in the back and just hit the button.
Reset.
Give me all my money.
So you said it was it like full size, or was it like smaller
It was
than a full size one?
It was like a little bit smaller than a full size one, like half the size maybe, but like it was still big enough where you could like pull down the handle and things of that nature.
So there's like when we think about slot machines, there's like the full size game, the medium game, and then the mini game.
Yeah, it would be more.
Speaking of mini games, there are mini games like Gwent, right, that are popular enough to become their own standalone games. And, you know, you've got like Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, which is like, you know, a Gwent standalone thing, right? Have you guys seen anything else like those mini games? Also, what about that transition?
It was amazing. I liked it.
It was good. It actually was a really good way to get my out of order questions, because I think this was supposed to come after the next one, but you know, don't worry about it. No, I actually don't have a good answer for this one, but I definitely had a really stupid experience where I soured on Gwent because the very first time I played it, my game crashed in Witcher 3, and so I never played it again. But I always really had a lot of respect for the fact that they had built it out so much and they made it its own standalone, and then did make it like the combat mechanic for Thronebreaker, which is pretty cool. I think the only other thing that I wanted to bring attention to, which is kind of not really that relevant, but I think it's worth a call out, is Valve's Poker Night at the inventory.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, which was a really, I mean, it's, if you want to call it a spinoff of poker, I guess, but was definitely and then they had Poker Night 2, I think afterwards. They followed it up and brought new characters in from other IPs and stuff. But there's also a very clever kind of mini game that's like fourth wall-y.
I'm like, look, but this had like all of like the Team Fortress characters in it, right?
Yeah, there's like the heavy. There was like one of the characters from Sam and Max, I think, was on there.
Yeah. Strong Bad was in it.
Strong Bad, Claptrap.
Of that
from Borderlands.
One of the Penny Arcade guys.
That's interesting.
It was wild. What a good call out, dude. That game ruled.
Does this still exist?
Yeah, you can get it on Steam. I might have it. I might have a bonus code.
I think you did end up giving one out at a stream you were doing. Yeah.
I, on the other hand, played a lot of Gwent. Like a lot of Gwent. I liked it a lot because you earn the cards in the game, right? Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't just like pay for a booster pack and now you're Gwenting. It's like, you know, you like complete the Bloody Butcher quest and you get the card afterwards. And that to me is just really enjoyable. Same thing that kind of happened with Triple Triad in Final Fantasy VIII and later in 14, you know. I just really like that. But because of that, I never played the Gwent. I like played the tutorial of the Gwent standalone game, and then it was like, get packs, and I was like, fuck this. Like uninstalled it and spit on the ground. Like
that's fair.
Yeah. I mean,
I just couldn't get into it.
It's the gotcha that probably made you just turn sour afterwards, probably.
Yeah. What about you?
I played a lot of that Orlog game that was in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which was like a dice game. And they ended up making that into a board. Is it really called a board game at this point? A dice game?
The dice game, is what they're calling it.
Physical tabletop dice game. And it's fun. Like it plays exactly like what you would expect the game would be like in Valhalla. So I liked it a lot. There was like a little bit of strategy involved, and like you had like the little like tokens that could like give you extra powers or something like that for your gameplay, which was really cool. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
I skipped Valhalla completely. What was Orlog like? Like, was it like a Yahtzee or
kind of? It was like you would roll the dice and it would be like a rock, paper, scissors thing where it's like there's melee attacks and ranged attacks and then certain types of defense. And so it was all about trying to allocate dice in the way that you would just like get certain attacks through. So it was basically like rock, paper, scissors, but the most complicated version of that using dice. I mean, sorry to jump in on this one, but
I don't know.
I enjoyed playing it. Yeah.
And then like you had hit points, and you're trying to just knock out your opponent's hit points essentially by the combat dice that you had.
It sounds cool.
It's fun.
Yeah. All right. Nice. So a different mini game, Five Finger Fillet, which is a particularly stabby wagering game in the Red Dead series, is a good example of ways in which players can wager and win in-game currency. What other games have we played that are like this?
So I'll actually, my answer for this was going to be Orlog. So because for obvious reasons, because I feel like aside from this, and then there was like you could play in the casino in San Andreas and GTA San Andreas.
Yeah,
I think. I did a little bit of that too, although, per some old episodes, I just did not spend much time in GTA games. But yeah, I did play Five Finger Fillet, and then any of the card game. I think you could play poker in there too, if I recall correctly. I did play some of that as well.
It was definitely poker. I was just trying to think if it was also like blackjack, but I don't remember if it was or not. That's okay. But did you know that there was horse betting in Harvest Moon? And I played the shit out of that. And like I was like really, I don't know, I was a terrible gamer where I would like save before I would do the horse betting, and I would like dump all of my money into one horse and hope that it won. And if it didn't, then I would just like reset my game to the save spot until I did win. But I loved doing that. Every single season when horse betting was around in Harvest Moon, I'd be like, yep, I'm gonna bet all of my money right now.
Gotta love save scumming.
Can't help it.
I respect it. I think this was a centerpiece of New Vegas, and it was really fun since there was a luck stat in the game, which could really stack the odds in your favor. So if you wanted to get real rich real quick in New Vegas, you could just stack luck and then play a bunch of different casino games. Also, it had Caravan, which was like a pretty good game and is impressive because it was like a new game that they invented that used a real deck of cards that you could really play with. So I bought the collector's edition of Fallout New Vegas, and it came with a deck of cards so you could play Caravan if you wanted to, like in the real world. It's pretty fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't think I've ever played Caravan before.
I don't think I have either.
It's cool. It's like you get 3 stacks of cards and you've got to get them to be somewhere between 21 and 26. You've got to get 2 of them in between. And so it's like, and when you bust, you like wipe that stack out and you have to start that stack over. So it's pretty fun. I'd recommend taking a look at it and checking it out. Yeah. Also, if you haven't played Caravan, have you guys played New Vegas?
No,
not all the way. I did play a bunch of it.
I heard it's one of the best like Fallouts too.
Yeah, should play. 100% should play. Yeah, good time. All right. So following up on that, we talked about Five Finger Fillet, and that also is a departure from a normal card game and slot machines, which are normally what you find in gambling. Are there any other unconventional gambling opportunities that you've played out there?
I mean, probably the one that pops up that I've used the most is like the gun slot machines in Borderlands.
Those
I guess
sons of bitches.
They so don't only, like I've spent way too much money and iridium on those, and I don't think I've ever gotten anything worth a damn. But it doesn't stop me from throwing lots of money at it. Lots of money.
Yeah. Plus, if you really fuck it up, then a bomb explodes and can kill you.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
So
it yells boom time and then throws a grenade.
I can't tell you how many times where I have just like clicked and wasn't even paying attention, and then I like, oh, boom time, okay, cool, and I was like, oh shit, like I have to move, and then I just don't move because I'm too late. Happens so often.
That's real.
Can I talk about the UFO games in Yakuza and how much I love throwing money at that, because you could actually like pick up plushies and use them as items in your game? It is amazing. There's so many different types of plushies that you can get. Like there's like these weird like lizard looking things, and then there's like stuffed bears that you can pick up, and they're different colors, and like I just tried to collect them all the whole entire time because UFO games are fun.
Now, when you say you can use them as items in the game, is it like you can throw it at an enemy?
I mean, like you
or
could
is
just
it like you decorate your apartment?
You can sell them and give them to people if you wanted to. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Still
Nothing
cool.
crazy, but like it's just fun, going there and picking up shit.
I'd love it. I'd love it if I were walking down the street and the main character walked up and handed me a plushie. Like
Right?
That sounds like a pretty good day.
Yeah. What about you, Dale?
I was going to talk about the crane game at the end of Kirby.
Oh.
Because, you get the bonus levels sometimes, and it's a little crane game, and if you pick up the big Kirby, it's worth like one up, but if you pick up the smaller Kirby, it's worth like 5 1-ups or something. I thought that was pretty cool. Also, betting on Chocobos in Final Fantasy VII in the Chocobo racing. That was always a good time. But the one that I want to spend the least amount of time on is in Leisure Suit Larry 7, Love for Sale, which takes place on a cruise ship. There is a casino, and one of the women that you are trying to, be with, swoon, sure, impress, plays you in a game of Liar's Dice. But it's strip Liar's Dice.
Oh.
Yes. And I don't know if you guys have ever played Liar's Dice, but it's fun. It's like a really fun game. And so I used to play that a lot, and it was like, yeah, I don't care about the half-dressed woman. I care about the game. Like, it's the game just rules. Interestingly enough, that paid off. I talked about how I went to Evermore this last summer, and one of the quests that I was on, I had to win a bet from a pirate. And they were like, what game do you want to play? And one of the games was Liar's Dice. And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
I'm so good at this.
That's
Get
awesome.
fucked, pirate.
Yeah, it was totally sweet. And not a skill that I ever anticipated would pay off. But
That's
there
amazing.
it was.
Amazing.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of JRPGs out there, like the Final Fantasy series, Dragon Quest series, that love to incorporate mini games from card games and like straight up, they'll just have casinos, right? I mean, everybody loves the Golden Saucer. So what are your favorite gambling experiences in JRPGs?
All right. So it kind of, we've already talked about Gold Saucer a little bit. I feel like it's really, really easy to just kind of go crazy on Gold Saucer. So I'll keep it brief. I do love kind of everything about this Gold Saucer. In Final Fantasy VII, I definitely had a run where I sold all of my materia and saved in a different save slot so I could just do Gold Saucer mini games. So like play the roller coaster shooting game and stuff like that. So I loved it. And then in 14, obviously like the little games that you play with like the strength contest and the like timing stuff and whatever. I fucking hate them, but I still play them and I don't know why. But honestly, the one I want to highlight here is Dragon Quest VIII pretty much taught me everything I know about roulette. Because in Dragon Quest VIII, there was a town, I think it was called Baccarat, of course, very thinly veiled, of course. In Dragon Quest, in the casino, you could earn like a special currency that you could use to buy like super good armor and weapons and stuff like that. And that was back in the day where I had to look it up on GameFAQs. This was in like 2003 or 2004. And
just real quick, shout out to GameFAQs, shout out to a poorly drawn ASCII version of all of the games
of the title card.
I love that.
Yep, for sure. And I just remember them having like a really in-depth guide about how to like maximize winnings like a little bit at a time by betting like right down the middle and then picking like one of the like 0 through 12, 13 through whatever. And so I spent a lot of time doing that, and like it's shockingly effective, but it win in such small increments that like you just have to play a lot. And then the other call out's going to be from Ni no Kuni. The original one, I didn't get all the way through the second one, but the original one had the casino in like in a graveyard actually. And so it was manned by like zombies and skeletons and ghouls and stuff. And it was just a really fun area. But obviously, since those games are so inspired by like the Dragon Quest series and whatnot, I remember it being quite similar. They did actually have, you mentioned Caravan. They did have their own proprietary game that they made up. It totally escapes me at this point, but they also did something like that where they made a totally unique game up just for the
zombie
casino
poker.
So it was something like that, yeah. But anyways, the shout out to the Dragon Quest series and the kind of inspired games for me.
I love the golden saucer. Like in Final Fantasy 14, I spend so much time there and I don't even know what I fucking do inside there. But most of the time I like go through
Cackpot.
the cackpot for sure, like every day, like, checking in on the mini cackpot or whatever. But like sometimes like I'll just like look at all like the prizes that you could win in there and then just be like, oh, like I'd love to have this for my character, or I'd love to have this for my character, and then just spend like an hour just like looking at shit.
Except it's all like
window
2
shopping.
million MGP.
Exactly. Like I don't think I've ever reached it. I still probably haven't reached some of it, and just like looking, you can't help.
The equivalent of like pressing your face against the glass prize case at a Chuck E. Cheese.
As your nose goes up like a little pig because you're just like staring at into the window.
Oh, I could get a sticky hand.
Oh my God, exactly.
I could get a Cactuar mount.
How many tickets do I need for that? Okay, we're going for it.
Yeah. Oh, man. That reminds me, in Frankenmuth, which I talked about on a previous episode, there is an arcade where the grand prize that's on the wall is 1 million tickets, and it's a straight up penny farthing bicycle. Like the bikes with the big wheel on the front.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's painfully Frankenmuth.
Yeah, one of my really good friends got married in Frankenmuth, and the bachelor party was in that arcade for part of it. And we were like, people are just sloshed, and it's like, we're getting that bike. Amazing. My answer for this question is The Legend of Legaia has a hidden Raseru, which is like a summon in that game, that you can only get if you win 100,000 coins in slots in the game. And I love it because it doesn't even show up in the prize list unless you have enough to get it. But then when you get it, its name is Palma, and it's fucking wild because when you use it in battle, it sends your enemies to space, and then it hits them with a bunch of asteroids because it is an asteroid.
Oh my God.
Have summoned an asteroid that shoots other asteroids.
That's amazing.
And it's like, why did you put this in? Why did you make it impossible to know about unless you had enough money to do it? And why did you make it the coolest summon I've ever heard of?
The JRPGs love this shit, man. Especially I think in the previous episode I talked about like Bahamut Zero, where it's like, oh, I have a giant space dragon that blew up the entire planet trying to kill this one anime. I hope it was worth it.
999.
Right, yeah.
So stupid. So sometimes gambling can show up in very bizarre places in games. What is the weirdest or coolest implementation of gambling that we've seen in a game?
I got nothing. I honestly got nothing. Like
I thought you wanted to go first. You were like,
because I got nothing. Because I literally was looking at this question and I was like, blank. Just blank across my face. So I'll have Brodie go next.
That would be great because this gives me an opportunity to talk about my newest obsession, which probably nobody else but me likes. This is kind of in the same vein as Tank, where it's this game that I've already sunk 35 hours into, and I think I've owned it for like 10 days. And it's a game called Ace Angler for the Switch. And apparently this is a franchise of Japanese arcade cabinets that are based around like a top-down view, like really arcadey style fishing game. But the thing that really is super interesting about it is that you have to spend these things called medals, which is just the in-game currency, to actually cast. So like you're constantly wagering on whether you're going to catch the fish or not. And all the things that you can unlock, they have like a fuck ton of stages and extra fish and stuff that you can unlock, and fishing rods and like clothing for your little like Animal Crossing dude. But everything you use is just one currency. So you're playing the fishing game to earn this currency by catching big fish to then continue to kind of put it into the system and to evolve the games. And now I've unlocked like all there is to unlock, and I'm still playing the game because I'm like, no, I got to unlock the clothes. Like I have to. The game is outrageously fun. There is a demo on the Switch store, so if anybody's interested in checking it out, I absolutely think it's worth your time. And then I get to call out one of my favorite iOS apps that I used to play. Dale might remember this from the old break room days, but Dragon Coins for iOS was a game that came out in like 2014. I looked it up the other day because every once in a while I'm like, are we sure it's not here anymore? And this is a game where like the whole basic concept was a coin dozer style thing, but it was like a fighting. It was like a Puzzles and Dragons style, like Japanese, like you fight big enemies and stuff. But the whole thing is like, if you drop the coins in the monster slot, that monster is going to attack and you have to do the attunement for like elements and stuff. I fucking loved that game. I was all about that game back in the day. And
that game ruled.
That game was fucking awesome, and it disappeared, and it just like they must have just not been selling any of the premium free-to-play stuff, and so people they shut it down, I guess. I don't know, but it's depressing. I miss that game all the time.
Yeah, that game definitely ruled. It definitely sounds like you have a problem when it comes to Ace Angler, though. Like,
yeah,
the game is so good, though. It's so good.
Do you need to talk to somebody?
35 hours. 35 hours in 10 days.
Yeah, but the game is that good. It's so good. Look, it's every once in a while. You guys know me. I'll get a totally fucking weird game that's for whatever reason absolutely my shit, and I won't be able to stop playing
Infinity Island. So yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
You maniac. Speaking of totally weird games, I want to talk about Luck Be a Landlord. Luck Be a Landlord is available on Steam. It is a roguelike slot machine game. What?
Yeah.
Yes. I stand by it. A roguelike slot machine game. It's like $10. And basically the way that it works is every time you roll, you get money. And you'll have like 5 rolls to get to 25 gold or whatever. But after every roll, you have the opportunity to add another icon to the slot machine. So it's like, you roll and then it's like, oh, now you have the opportunity to add a cat. And every time the cat shows up in your roll, you get a gold. And then it's like, okay, now the next time you have the opportunity to get a bottle of milk. And the bottle of milk is also worth a gold, unless it shows up next to a cat, in which case the cat will eat the milk and it'll give you 9 gold.
Oh.
Right?
Interesting.
And then every time it hits that goal phase where it's like, oh, you had to pay for your rent, which you pay for your rent using the slot machine. That's the plot of the fucking game. It's brilliant. Every time you pay for your rent, you also have the chance to get an item. And one of those items might be like, your cats now give you 2 gold. Right?
Huh.
Which doesn't sound that interesting, except one of the ultra rare items might be your cats now are wild and they will count as the highest item that's next to them. And so if the cat is next to a bottle of milk that it ate, now the bottle of milk is worth 9 and the cat's worth 9. And so it's just like big number funny, like goes up, synergies and all of that. It's just so good and so addictive. And it's got different levels of like how hard it is. And there's like temporary items you can get. And there's this like weird communism subplot that's sewn into it. I just love it. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's a very fun game.
Defeating capitalism, because every single time that you have a landlord, the game is always just bad. They're just a bad guy.
Yep. Number one bad guy. They call it a roguelike deck builder, but it's a roguelike slot machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do love that it has to say in the description, this game does not contain any real world currency, gambling, or microtransactions. It's like, yeah, one of the items is a fruit basket. I figured that out on my own. So anyway, Luck Be a Landlord. Can't recommend it enough. All right, so let's step outside of the games themselves. Have we ever been part of bets or wagers around games, like betting $5 on games of Mario Kart? Have you witnessed anything like this? How friendly were the wagers? And I'm just going to go first here because my answer is no. And it's probably for the same reason I don't spend a lot of time in casinos. I don't even do shit where like the loser buys pizza or that kind of thing, because if I lose, I feel bad. But if I win, I feel even worse. Right. Because now it's like, oh man, not only did I just beat this guy in Soul Calibur, but now he has to buy me lunch. Like that sucks for everybody, Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe my brain's broken, but like, I don't like it. I'd rather just whoop your ass in Soul Calibur and then we can go commiserate over the pizza.
Nice.
That's fair. That's super fair.
So, my answer is absolutely fucking yes. So I wasn't part of any of these wagers, but there were two guys that were in my college circle of really close friends that just got in the habit of wagering on games of Mario Kart. It was specifically Mario Kart Double Dash, and it was absolutely unreal because okay, so one of the big things here is that both of these guys used to complain about how poor they were, like, all the time, to the point where one of them would constantly borrow one of my other best friends' printers to print out Quiznos coupons because he didn't want to spend money on the paper it would take to print the coupon. Anyways, there were these running bets, and these bets would happen almost every single day on games of Double Dash. And my buddy John was so good at Double Dash that he the handicap that he would have on these races was that he would have to come in first every race, and my other friend George would actually have to he couldn't even come in second in these races. So John would specifically have to get first place in every race and sabotage George to the fact that he couldn't finish second in every race. And these were wild. These happened over the course of many years in college, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars change hands on this. The funniest thing that ever came out of this, though, this was such a regular occurrence, an almost daily occurrence, that, like, I would hear yelling in my living room when we were renting a duplex at Michigan State. I would hear yelling in the other room, and it'd be like, oh yeah, they're betting on Mario Kart again. And I swear to God, one day I came out, and one of these guys he's naked from the waist down. This is at like 2:00 in the afternoon. He has no pants, no underwear out. And he is like, John, pause the game. Because what happened was he tried to moon the other guy and realized that he didn't have the ability to pause the game. So he was just stuck there with pants on, with his dick sticking out. And John wouldn't pause the game. He's like, no, you did this to yourself. You have to play the rest of this race out with your dick out.
My dude's just Donald ducking it.
He's just Donald ducking it for the rest of the race. It was so funny. I walked out in the other room and I was like, what the fuck is happening in this house right now? It was so wild.
What are the stakes on this? Because on one hand, if it's like textbooks and meal cards, it's like funny. But on the other hand, if this guy's got his dick out for like $1, it's even funnier.
It is. He got his dick out for like $5.
That's insane.
Put Harambe on the $5 bill.
Oh my
what
God.
are we doing?
Oh, it was so funny. Those are the dumbest times.
That's great.
So fucking stupid.
True story, too. Follow that, assholes.
Did he finish the race with his pants down?
Yes. Because John wouldn't pause the game.
How long was the race?
We had like a mostly naked man in our living room playing Mario Kart for like a full 10 minutes. And it wasn't like the result of drinking or anything either, which, like, you know, back in the day, you'd be like, oh, that guy's naked. We don't really know why.
Oh my God.
2 p.m. dick out GameCube controller in hand.
I can't.
Yep.
What a sad life. Mel, do you have an answer for this?
How do I follow that up?
Sorry.
Jeez. I should have went before Brodie. I had a friend back when I was playing Call of Duty who was really, really into CSGO betting. Which was wild. So they would like end up having like a league that they would always bet on, and there was like a spread that went along with it. And it's wild because the CSGO betting was not only in dollar amounts, but it was also in like the CSGO like keys. Weapon skins, keys, knives, and stuff like that. So a lot of it was on the line. And during this time too was like when there was a whole fiasco about like how some teams were like purposely losing because they wanted to win their own bets. So there's like a lot of insider like stuff going on. So people were like losing like thousands of dollars because people were just like throwing their games. It got like really, really intense for a hot second.
That's wild.
I know. And like, these are like championship games of like leagues and stuff like that people would be like betting on, and people would just throw.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wild. Dude, imagine if your friend had a side bet that like he could be naked in front of John and John would be happy about it. Shout out to John and the guy who Brodie graciously did not name, I don't think.
Oh, I did. But
great. I'll go back. When this releases, I'll go back and listen and figure out his name. Shout out to that guy also. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I bet he was taking that to his grave. He's like, I'm never telling anybody this story.
Oops. I mean, I think you forfeit your right to that when, you're in a duplex full of 6 people that live there. You're screaming at the top of your lungs and have no pants on at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Like, this wasn't exactly, under the cover of night.
Jeez.
Wow. All right. Well, this next question is our last question, and it's sponsored by your wallet, which is now empty because of your sudden and inexplicable gambling addiction to a fishing game. Not pointing any fingers here.
Hey, it's not free to play.
We all know who we're talking about. You are now the central theme of a casino-style game. What is your game and the theme like?
Yeah, so mine is going to be some sort of variation on blackjack, where what I'm doing is I'm betting my own time. That's the cards that I'm playing, or like time that I'm spending on activities, because I am notoriously an awful hangry person. Anybody who is very, very close to me will tell you this. Meredith has almost murdered me on several occasions because I get to be such an asshole when I'm hungry. But I guess what I'm doing here is I'm trying to, not bust and do too many activities. So I always have to have a chance to eat. I guess in this example, the house is time, and I guess the house always wins.
The house is the unending march of entropy.
Yeah, this is just like usual. Got real weird. All right, I got you on the weird front.
Can't be as weird as mine because mine's Murder Melly Slots. I thought it was going to be a card game, but Slots is way more random and it has way much more mayhem. Do people die? Maybe. Maybe not. Are there cute animals involved? Probably. The animals definitely do not die. But maybe there will also be buckets of blood that falls on you, Nickelodeon slime style, if you get a certain amount of things in a row.
I can't wait till it's like rabbit, bucket, and then just like 2 rabbits pour blood on you. Horrific.
It would be a game I would love to play.
It does sound like a pretty good time. Oh, man. All right. My answer is just regular casino games, but you bet ladlefuls of chowder. Like,
what?
Like if you're playing craps, you just drop a few ladlefuls right onto the table.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding, of course. That's so fucking gross. I don't know. Maybe like betting on the X Games, like you place bets on what tricks will happen in a vert run, with more specific tricks having higher odds. Like a grab is even money because that's almost always going to happen. But a ghetto bird is like 70-1 odds because nobody does that on vert, that sort of thing. And then when you're betting, you bet with chowder.
like cups of chowder.
Ladlefuls, as established earlier in my answer.
Yeah. Sorry, is that a cup? Is a ladle a cup? It could be.
It's a ladle.
It's a ladle.
I love this.
How do you? Okay, so like, let's say that you're gonna bring chowder to your table. How are you bringing it in a bucket?
Tote bag.
Tote bag. All right. A bag full of soup.
This is like the what's your spaghetti policy thing from Always Sunny. We just roll it around with a fucking Ziploc bag full of spaghetti. Or soup in this case.
Just a couple tote bags full of chowder I had on a hot night at the slots.
Sorry. Yeah.
Imagine the slot payout. And you just have a tote bag underneath, but chowder's going everywhere.
It's just like the Mel thing with the slime, except that it's like two rabbits pouring buckets of chowder.
Oh my god. I just want to commend everybody, by the way, because we got to the end of a gambling episode and nobody once made the poker hardly knew her joke. So great job to all of us.
Until just
we did
now.
It.
No, it doesn't count. I'm giving us credit. Does anybody have anything else to say about gambling outside of that?
No.
Don't do it. Save your money. Buy cool stuff.
Do it. You'd buy really dumb stuff anyways.
Oh man. Also, we did a whole conversation about gambling, and I didn't have to mention loot boxes once, which is great because loot boxes fucking suck.
Yeah.
So
I will say one last thing, sorry, in closing, which is that it's amazing how video game companies are now getting into the slot machine game. So you'll go to casinos and you'll see games that have been produced by like Konami, for example, was a company that you could see in there. And they're actually starting to add in some casinos like skill-based mini games in some of those slot things. So they're becoming more and more kind of like in the realm of video games.
Yeah, that is true. I actually went to the casino in Vegas the last time I was there, and they had a UFO gambling game where you had to bet money, and then it would do like a roulette thing of like how much money you would win if you picked up the stupid ball and then dropped it into your prize slot. That was pretty crazy. That's
double devious because you can rig the ring and you can rig the UFO thing. That's like double evil. That's almost loot box evil. Which just real quick for anyone who's curious, loot boxes aren't gambling, and it's good that countries are banning them. So
thank you, microtransactions.
Yes, hip hooray. Anything else to say about gambling? No, great. Why don't you tell the people where you can be found?
You can find me on Hive, I guess now is Arborescence. You'd find me in the Discord as Arborescence.
Find me on Discord as Melephant. Whoa.
The second whoa really sold it for me. I don't know about you guys. This is the second whoa for me. I haven't yet deactivated my Twitter account. We'll see what happens. I just started getting tweets by Elon Musk injected into my timeline. I don't follow him. Nice. It's like, what the fuck is happening here?
That tracks. By the time this episode goes live, it'll be a distant memory.
It's entirely possible. I'm probably going to make a Hive right after we get off of here. I made a Mastodon the other day, so I'm a 20-sided ninja at Mastodon with no vowels. So like MSTDN.party, which, I was like, how am I going to avoid .party? Like, I got to get on there. I'm on Vero, but I'm also on Twitch and the Discord as a 20-sided ninja. Speaking of the Discord, by the time you're hearing this, it's entirely possible that we have revamped our Discord. So if you're like, yeah, I went to the Discord, it wasn't that cool. Fuck you, it's cool now. Yeah. It's fresh and cool again.
So get fresh and Discord. So clean.
Clean?
So clean.
So clean.
Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a trillion times. Anyway, yeah, it's great in there now, and you should go and check it out. And if you're already in there and you're like, why the fuck did this happen? I hope you're listening to this episode because now you know. And if you're not, we're going to have a chat. We're going to have a chat. Yeah. We also have like a YouTube you can go to and a website you can go to. And our merch was just accidentally on sale for a little while. And it might go accidentally on sale relatively soon because anytime Threadless has a sale, we have a sale. So we'll have sales that we don't even know about. And I'll just like discover it one day. So that's pretty cool. So if you're like, man, I sure do want a SuperOK hoodie, but I don't want to pay the regular price. Yeah. Odds are pretty good. You could not.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else anybody needs to say?
Well, I'd wager that Dan can fuck off. Danny up, partner.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
If you're a Patreon, I love you. Everybody else, goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Oh yeah, I have a SuperOK day. Well, God fucking damn it.